If you don't have a good offer, none of the other 4 legs of this table will matter one bit, okay? The 4 things that hold your offer up, that make the offer stand, are desire, logic, proof, and credibility. So whenever I'm putting together, let's say, a webinar, I'm making sure that my webinar, first of all, is creating desire. I do a lot of that through stories. I am showing proof that this actually works, okay? I am establishing some level of credibility. Again, you're going to get my 10 ways to establish credibility even if you don't have results here in just a moment. I'll give you the link for that. And then logic. So what's the difference between proof and logic? I should clarify on this real quick. Proof is, they're similar. Proof is when your prospect looks at like, oh, wow, so-and-so. Well, when Misha showed you video testimonials yesterday, that was proof, right? But when he said, you know, if you follow step-by-step what we do, you could potentially make your money back, income disclaimer, of course, you could make your money back by, you know, within 30 days, 60 days, or whatever. That creates a logic where your prospect goes, well, yeah, I can justify the decision now. So there's a difference between seeing proof that it works and then justifying the decision in their mind after you've built up the desire and the credibility. And the thing I love about stories is that stories can help you to do both of those things. They can help you, really, 3 of those things can be done with story. You can create desire with a story. You can establish credibility by telling your own story, and you can have a logical decision made in their mind with stories as well. I'll try to give you some examples. I got to move because we're going fast. So the combination here, I've got a little acronym. It's PADLOC, PDLOC. Proof, desire, logic, offer, credibility. So when you're putting together a presentation or when you're putting together a sales video or an ad and you want it to be more effective at moving your prospects to action, whether you're using stories in that ad or not, I want you to ask yourself, how many of these elements do I have? Number 1, is the thing I'm offering this person in my ad something they really want? Even if it's free. A free offer is still an offer. Whenever I tell someone I have a free webinar that you can attend that will allow you to stop chasing your family members and friends, it'll allow you to start getting cheap leads on Facebook without a ton of technical setup, I know that they are desiring that. It is something that they would want. So my offer in that ad is good. Even though it's a free thing, it has to be a good offer. That webinar is offering them something good. I have in that ad, I have proof by showing testimonials of other people that have done it. I build their desire with a story. I have some logic in there and then the credibility with my own story. That gets my prospects to take action on that ad and go register for the webinar. And then I do it again on the webinar to actually make the sale. So this is your checklist. If you're wondering, why is my ad not working? I would go in and first start with the offer. Do they really want what I'm offering them? Right? And then, am I building up enough desire? Am I showing them proof it works? Am I logically telling them why they should do this? And then have I established some level of credibility with them? All right, so I asked you about those 4 bonuses. In fact, I'll tell you what. Right now, why don't you pull out your phones and just go to this site. I want to make sure it works for one thing. And I want you to experience how I generate my leads through Messenger. Because if you guys aren't using Messenger in your business, it definitely might be something that you want to consider. This link will not take you to a website. So is there anybody in here who gets a little bogged down with technology from time to time? Okay, so you might enjoy the way that I've set this up and seeing kind of how I generate leads without a capture page and without an email autoresponder. If you go to jointyson.com/San, it'll take you over to my Messenger page. And then if you opt in, if you just join my Messenger, it should send you an automated bot message, and then it'll ask you for your email address, and then and then automatically you'll get everything sent over to your email. So you're going to get these 4 bonuses that I promised you. The 10 ways to establish credibility. There's a free webinar that you're welcome to watch if you want it that shows you kind of how to get leads with Messenger the way that you're doing. You can download all my slides from this presentation, and I'm going to give you 2 of my best story ads so that you can model those in your business, okay? I need to move on. Now, this is why most people's offers and ads and sales pitches don't work. It's because, number 1, they have a junky offer. Notice my offer is the table. It's no good. Nobody would want it even if I did build up desire and credibility and logic and proof. And most people are trying to sell with logic alone, right? Has anybody ever heard of the term technobabble? Yeah? Technobabble, I feel like so many marketers, they get so hung up on trying to sell with Technobabble. Well, let me tell you about our comp plan. And they talk about, well, you get 30% commissions if you sell this product, and then you get 50% if you sell this product, and then you get 20% if you sell this one. And then if you come to the event, and nobody really cares about any of that, they're trying to sell it all with logic. So the reason why most people are not making sales, number one, they haven't created a good offer, which I explained how to do a moment ago, and they're trying to build their entire sales pitch on one leg of this formula, logic alone, which is why it doesn't work. Now, in order for you to make sales, you have to have all four, and we're going to get into the story part of this right now. So I think we could all agree that film directors have to be great storytellers, right? They have to understand how to tell a good story if they want to draw the audience in. And Frank Capra, how many of you have seen the classic movie It's a Wonderful Life? Yes, great movie. Watch it every year at Christmas time with my in-laws. My mother-in-law loves that movie. And Frank Capra, the director of that, said, pardon me, he said, I've made mistakes when creating films and drama. I thought that drama was when the actors cried, right? Oh, I have to show all of this emotion, but I realized drama is when I can make the audience cry. And how can you make the audience cry? How can you build up emotion in the audience? Okay, by the way, if you're wondering how in the world this relates to you, we're getting into the part where how do I create desire for my prospects? The secret is you have to know what's most important to your prospect, right? And I'll tell you a great story about this. So, story time again in a presentation about stories, seems apropos. The number one rule of storytelling is that you have to understand what your listener is most interested in. You have to get it. The number one reason that most marketers struggle to get their ads to work, to get their offers to convert, is because they haven't taken enough time to really get in the mind of their prospect. And I've got a great story about this. How many of you here have children? By show of hands, okay. How many of you have children that are old enough that you at one time or another had to have the talk? Anybody? Okay. Yeah, the talk, that one. So I had to have that talk with my son a couple years ago when he was probably 8, 9, he's 10 now. Had to have that talk with him. It was a little nerve-wracking for me. I didn't know how he was going to take it. Now, what 8-year-old in the world wants to hear his dad talk to him about body parts and gross things that adults do? None of them, right? So I had to go into that, first of all, understanding what is my son's currency? What is he most interested in? If I sat down and said, we got to talk, he would not have wanted to listen. So I had to think, how can I make him want to listen? You have to do the same thing with your prospects. You want to know how I made him listen? Yeah. So I sat down and I told him a story. And I told him this story. I said, listen, I want to talk to you about something that might seem a little weird. You might find it a little awkward. But when I was about your age, maybe even a little younger than you, I was on the bus. And this is a true story, by the way. I was on the bus, and there were these older kids who were using some words that I didn't understand. And they were laughing. And they were supposed to be funny words. And I felt really stupid. I felt out of place. I started laughing along with them, but I could tell they saw right through me. I felt really insecure, really embarrassed, and I don't want that to happen to you. So immediately I had his attention. Whatever Dad's about to tell me, I'm going to listen. Because while my son has no interest in hearing his dad talk about sex, what he is interested in is not looking like an idiot in front of his friends. Did I know my son's currency? Right? Because I knew my son's currency, I could build his desire with a story before I sold him the idea I wanted him to listen to me about. Understood? So you can do this with your prospects as well, but it first requires you to know, what is my prospect most interested in? Okay?